European elections coming up.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Nigel Farage of UKIP, I said to him, but the Conservatives are offering a referendum on the Lisbon Treaty, even if, and he said, no, they're not, because if the Irish allow the treaty to be ratified, that's it over, and you won't get a referendum from the Conservatives.
Well, what we've said is that we support a referendum. We want a referendum. We want that referendum to happen now. It can happen now because the treaty is still being discussed and debated elsewhere in Europe. It hasn't been signed and ratified by everybody. And the more people who vote Conservative on June the 4th, the greater the pressure there will be on Gordon Brown to hold that referendum that he promised. And if we get the early election...
Like UKIP are right.
Well, no, if we get the early election that I'm asking for, either in July or in September, the treaty's still there, we could have a referendum before Christmas. So that is what we should have.
But, you know, it's likely that Gordon Brown will hang on and won't call an early election. And if the Irish then vote for the treaty and it's ratified, we will be in the position that UKIP talk about, which is that if you get a Conservative government afterwards, it will have been ratified. What I'm asking is, in those conditions, will you hold a referendum?
Well, there are an awful lot of ifs. That's if
yes.
we don't have an early election, if the Irish vote yes, when last time they voted no,
they're quite likely
if the
ifs.
Czechs and others all actually put the Constitution through, if all of these things happen, then what happens? What
yes.
I said there is we will not let matters rest.
I think it'll sound to a lot of people watching as if you do not intend to hold a referendum in the circumstances, the not unlikely circumstances that I've outlined to you. What I'm asking is, in those conditions, will you hold a referendum?
Well, there are an awful lot of ifs. That's if
yes.
we don't have an early election, if the Irish vote yes...
If David Cameron stood up this afternoon and said that the next Conservative government would give the British people a referendum on that constitutional treaty because it would not have legitimacy, given that the government of the day was elected on that manifesto, David Cameron, if he did that, could kill the Lisbon Treaty this afternoon, but he refuses to do it. You see, if Cameron did it, it would stiffen the arm of the Polish president, wouldn't it? It would help the Czechs, and it would make a second referendum in Ireland all but impossible. But he won't do it. And that is why what we have to do, and what we are going to do, in the European elections of 2009, is we are going to be on every single ballot paper in the United Kingdom, and we are the party of opposition. We are the party that says we want to trade with Europe, we want to be friendly with Europe, but we insist that we should make our own laws in this country because the best people to govern Britain are the British people themselves.
What I'm asking is, in those conditions, will you hold a referendum?
Well, there are an awful lot of ifs. That's if
yes.
we don't have an early election, if the Irish vote yes...
But he refuses to do it.
The
Sounds
early
to me like
election.
UKIP are right.
To find out more about who we are and what we stand for, go to the UK Independence Party website at www.ukip.org.